When I was in elementary school, I would stare into the fish tanks at pet stores, begging my mom to buy them all. This was not because I wanted multiple types of fish to live harmoniously as my pets. It was because I felt bad that they were living in tanks and I wanted to release them. I have always had a soft spot for animals since a very young age. Sometimes in the middle of a meal, I would remember I was eating something that was once alive and would not be able to finish the rest of the food. In 5th grade, I made the ethical decision to go vegetarian. This decision solidified as I got older and learned more about why this was a good decision. I learned about mistreatments of animals when they are killed for food as I grew up. To start, there are many problems with the way birds are treated in the food industry. The FDA is supposed to have rules and regulations on how food can be manufactured. Their mission is the process by which the U.S. Food and Drug Administration evaluates the safety hazard potentials of the products under its purview has evolved from a constellation of scientific research achievements in toxicology and related areas and successions of historical events, some tragic, which encouraged dramatic changes in the oversight and regulation of foods and drugs and cosmetics. However, all birds are unprotected under these FDA laws, giving meat farmers free rein to mistreat them to their discretion. Birds used for meat and birds used for eggs both have been hyperbred for maximum production. When looking at these birds next to each other, they look nothing alike. Cows are no exception to this niche breeding. Dairy and meat cows are also subject to atrocious conditions and an inhumane death. Pigs are another common animal eaten and live unimaginably horrible lives before dying a cruel death. They live among their waste and develop diseases due to high ammonia levels in their crowded stalls. Learning how brutally these animals are treated is something I have never been able to ignore. The next thing I had to take into consideration is what corporations I chose to eat at. Growing up gave me more freedom to pick and choose what organizations I chose to support and which I chose not to. Tyson and McDonald's are two of the companies that have been heavily under fire for their mistreatment of animals, and two I choose to avoid. Starting with Tyson, an animal rights activist went undercover into a Tyson chicken farm and eventually released footage of mistreatment. 7 workers were sentenced after this footage was released, and 10 were terminated from the company. These workers were filmed abusing these chickens by kicking them, snapping their necks, shoving plastic through their nostrils, shoving them in trucks, and other cruel acts. McDonald's has had a similar situation where 2 of their workers pleaded guilty to animal abuse. Even after the sentencing of these ex-employees, people were unhappy with the lack of severity. Many people believed the punishments were not severe enough to prevent future similar actions. My decision to go vegetarian was something I had to reconsider before going to college. The convenience of cooking my own food and driving to restaurants I knew had options for me was no longer something I was able to enjoy. However, going to Grand Valley has provided me with an easy transition out of my convenient means of eating. Every cafeteria has options for both vegan and vegetarian diets. Not only do they make it simple at Grand Valley, they make it ethical. Grand Valley sources their food from primarily local vendors in order to create sustainability, and they are fair trade certified. The cafeterias are farm to table, making it ethical for people who do choose to eat meat. Furthermore, Grand Rapids is ranked 40th in the United States for vegan eating options. This transition was very smooth and simple due to the wave of realization the people of America have had in the past couple years. The food pyramid is continually being reinvented and flipped due to the spreading knowledge that eating meat is not the only way to eat healthy.